Hey guys. So we had some technical difficulties today, but it is all good. It is all good. We are here. Um and so make sure that you guys could hear me. Okay. All right. Got my little grade curly situation going. How y'all doing today? And so, all right, so we have some technical difficulties. We had two guests that were scheduled for today, but unfortunately, they were unable to join us. Um, we're still waiting on Eric. Um, but if nonetheless, we will try again on Friday. And so, y'all got me tonight. And so, um, I wanted to just come on here, chat a little bit about your week. I don't know about y'all, but this week just literally flew by. Like, this week was definitely unique in the sense that it just flew by and challenging because it's like you had to just wear so many hats. Sometimes it becomes a lot. But I'm so grateful. Today's Friday. And so I'm so grateful that we're here and we're able to make things work regardless of it. Um, and just kind of all right, just trying to, figure out and see. And y'all just bear with me. Um, let's see if we could get this whole technical thing going. Um, and see what we're doing. And so, as we're going through this, I want to just kind of like talk to you guys about um, just being mindful, as we go through this process of dating. Just be mindful of other people and their feelings. Like we shouldn't be out here playing games with people's feelings. Um, we want to be respectful of that space, respectful of people's time, and just be understanding as we go through this process. Um, okay. And understanding as we go through this process, because again, you never know really um, what's going to happen. And something that I wanted to mention to you is that is really important is setting boundaries, right? And these boundaries should be established, hopefully, before you start dating. But you want to set your boundaries before you start going out on dates so you kind of understand and not be afraid to stop the conversation if you're not comfortable. So if it's outside of your boundaries, right? So if somebody asks you a question, for example, um, if you're having a conversation and someone asks you a question about that is personal, right? So whether it will be like about your health or something about the health of your family or anything in that space, be it's okay to say I'm not comfortable with sharing that information at this point in our journey, but I'll be more than happy to circle back once we've developed a rapport. That's something that I always use, right? If the conversation gets too personal, and because we still need to kind of maintain a certain level of, especially if you're online dating, right? A certain level of um, privacy, right? We don't want to put it all out there. We put exactly like who we are, and you can still be authentic, but still reserve on discussing certain issues, right? Like an issue that I don't necessarily like to get into right off the bat is past relationships, right? And so maybe surface level conversations, right? But when they start just kind of like inquiring more, um, you know, just kind of like just steer away from that, because that's something that could it could cause a lot of just reservation, because you know what, at the end of the day we are who we are, and as human beings we judge. Okay, we judge. We are quick to judge. We can't help it. That's who we are, right? Our brain goes on autopilot and we start making judgments and forming conclusion about people, right? And so we want to make sure that, just kind of be just very be mindful of that. You want to make sure that we get the right um get the give the right impressions. Okay. So with all of that said, I wanted to bring on our guest who is here. He is going to have a first date conversation with me. And we are going to be talking today, and we'll talk a little bit about our 10-minute conversation, and then we'll kind of get into the sauce as to points of the conversation, takeaways from the conversation, and y'all can give us your feedback. Okay. All right. So I am going to bring on our guests. Hold on a second. Let me just make sure that. Okay. All right. Let me just make sure that we are here, that you guys have it. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Hi, Eric. How are
Hi.
you?
Well, well, well. Finally, we meet. So good to see you live and in living color. I'm so sorry for my tardiness here. Oh, let me see. I guess you can't hear me. Let me make sure that I have audio here. Can you hear me? Okay, let me see, Mike.
All right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but we're
Okay,
going to
I
get it
can't hear you.
built in. Like, let me see here. External. How about now? Headphones. Let me see. Can you hear me now? You still can't hear me? You can't hear me? Let me see here. Da, da. The host has unmuted your mic. Can you hear me? Nope, you can't hear me.
No, no, no.
I
I
can hear
still can't hear.
you. I can hear you. Mic
So you
external.
guys like see technology. You just gotta love it. You just absolutely gotta love the technology. You
I
know,
know it.
it saves the day, but when you want it to deliver, man, there is
Well,
always something with.
and the interesting thing is, this is the same one that I use, StreamYard, and it is. Let me try something different here. And I'll just try it from my phone. Just a sec.
No, we still can't hear you.
I'll try it from the phone.
Edit mic settings.
Okay, can you hear me now? Um,
Mm, no.
okay, can you hear
Okay,
me
can you
now?
hear me now?
All right. Well, that's better, but can you hear can
I
I
can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, I still can't hear you.
You still can't.
Oh, hold on. Let me make sure that you are you using the audio from
It says my iPhone mic is working. Can you can't hear me still?
no,
I'm so sorry.
the
It's showing that I
audio.
have audio here. It's showing that I have it.
Hold on one second. Let me just make sure that it is not my.
Audio here is showing that
There
I
you
have
go.
it.
Okay, so it is on my side, which is all.
You unmuted
Okay,
me,
so
right?
I could so for some reason I got to figure out why I can't hear you through my mic. Okay, so I'll tell you what we're
Okay.
gonna do.
You still can't hear me. I can hear you. I can't hear you now.
You, can you hear me
Now I
now?
can. Now I can.
Oh, yay! Okay, all right. So we don't know why that is going on, but we are alive, so we are just making it work.
We're gonna make it do what it do. So,
We are going to make it do what it do.
so
Okay, so
you can hear me now, though.
I could hear you now, and
Okay.
you could you're through the you're streaming through, so you're good.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
uh,
again, welcome to Los Angeles. I was caught up in traffic a while ago. I have an event here tonight, and
okay.
I'm shooting a Steppers, a Chicago-style Steppers event tonight. And
Oh,
so
I'm
it starts
sorry.
in another hour or so, but I call myself getting ahead so that I can do this here. And
Yeah.
then the technology started tripping. But nevertheless, it's so good to finally meet you.
Ah, yes. Okay. All right. So we had some scheduling mix up with the other guests. So you and I
Just
have
the two of us, huh?
just the two, right? And so um, we're going to have our 10-minute conversation.
Okay.
Then what we'll do is you'll have and I don't know if you have like another device here, like a little bit of feedback.
Let's say again.
There's like another device
Well, you
that
know what? Let
that
me.
turn down the volume.
What I can do, I think I maybe still let me. Uh, is that better?
Yes.
Yeah, because I had it still open on the computer, but what I decided to do was call it up on the phone instead. So I
Okay.
just killed the StreamYard on the computer.
Okay. Awesome. All
Okay.
right. So we'll have our 10-minute conversation, and then
Okay.
we'll go into um, feedback. Right? You'll give
Okay.
feedback on me. I'll give feedback on you. And then
Okay.
we'll just kind of open it up to the audience for feedback and a dialogue on the conversation.
Okay.
All right. So ready and all right, and go.
What am I supposed to do?
So we have a conversation. So hi, Eric. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous. So good to finally meet you again.
Yes, yes. I was looking through your profile, and you have a lot. We have a lot of common interests, and so it was really exciting to meet you.
Well, thank you. Well, one thing I love about you probably the most is that you're a football fan.
Oh yes, I am. I am a diehard Giants
I
fan.
know it. I've seen it through
Yeah,
the season,
you're right.
and
True.
for most guys, they say the way to a guy's heart is his stomach. With me, is she likes football, especially pro football.
Oh yes, I can get a little bit rowdy
That's
with
cool.
football. You
I
know,
love
I
that.
tend to not have fear any feelings
Yes.
um, with my banter. So a lot of people aren't necessarily open to that. Uh,
Okay.
that's exciting. You know, it's good fun. It's all in good fun.
No, look, you don't have to apologize or none of that kind of stuff. So am I. I'm a Saints fan. I'm from New Orleans, and
Okay.
but I've been out here in Southern California since 1982. I came out here in the Navy, and I was in San Diego, and then I moved here to LA. This August makes 26 years ago.
Oh wow.
So I'm a red carpet reporter, so that's what I do is
Okay.
cover a lot of. My very first one was in 1995, Waiting to Exhale,
Oh nice.
and yeah, and then my last one that I did a couple of weeks ago was Snoop Dogg's mom's birthday party.
Okay.
So,
That's cool.
that's
Now,
what I get a chance to do.
how did you end up in that career?
Well, it ended up in me. I
Mhm.
what happened is I have a picture of me, Sasha, when I was 11 years old, pretending then what I do now. And
Oh,
so it's on my website, and I've shared it on Facebook. But it's a picture of me pretending at 11 what I do now as a red carpet reporter. And so I love what I do. I'm blessed that my career is also my hobby. And as a result, there's kind of like India Arie's song "Brown Skin." I don't know where yours stop and where mine begin.
right.
That's the way it is with my career. And so, in addition to doing TV, I do radio as well, like my jazz school radio show. That's on Smooth Jazz KIFM 98.1 out of San Diego. It is in its July 10th makes 27 years. I've been
Okay.
doing that.
Wow.
So a brother has persisted.
Yes, I love it. Just very long-term commitment into that space. Now, it seems like you I know your work is a lot of fun, but what does Eric do when he is not working?
I love to read. I'm an avid reader,
Okay.
and I have a Barnes and Noble addiction. So I was over, in fact, a week ago today. I met a friend up for some dinner out in Riverside, and there's a Barnes and Noble across the parking lot, and I could not leave without at least going inside. And so I
Yeah,
love to read. I love reading books on everything from relationships. I got a lot of those. I've got books on psychology. I just bought a book recently on um, what is it? It's kind of like not creative thinking, but um, it'll come to me in just a moment. But
yeah,
I tap into various different things,
yes.
and um, so that's what I love doing. I love reading. And then I love listening to my music,
Hmm.
and like I said, I'm really blessed that my career is also my hobby. But
Hmm.
when I get away from that, I'm a pretty, um, even with all of the celebridom that I'm around, I'm pretty much a basic kind of guy,
Yes.
and I find myself watching like CNN and MSNBC because I like to stay current with current
Right.
events.
Right.
But also, I like going out to a nice dinner. I like going to places like here in downtown LA. There's a place called WP24. It's Wolfgang Puck 24, and it sits up on the
Right.
24th floor of the Ritz Carlton.
Oh,
And I've even taken my daughter up there before. I just love the ambiance.
right.
And so
Right.
I'm a people kind of guy. I've been married before, and I'm blessed that my in-laws are not my outlaws.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
I've
Right.
been married twice, and I to this day have a phenomenal relationship with both families. They love me. I don't know what happened with the daughters, but I tell you what, with the mothers and the sisters,
Right.
and the fathers, they love them some Eric J, and I love me some them.
Yes.
So I'm like I said, I'm just a guy from Louisiana who loves people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could definitely get that. I definitely sense that energy. Um, like just being around you, I could definitely sense that energy. Now, tell me, like this whole 24th floor in LA, I'm scared of heights. So
Okay.
it's not, I'm like, oh, 24th floor, right? Um,
There are
but
other restaurants here too. There are others that are,
yeah,
on the ground. But every now and then I like to go to that one because you
that
can
one.
overlook the freeway, and especially at nighttime, it's a
Right,
beautiful sight.
right. I think something that I really like about LA for the time that I've been there, is just this like the street food. Like
Okay.
there's a
Like
lot
the
of
street
food.
tacos and stuff like
Yeah,
that, the
yeah.
trucks.
There's a lot of food trucks. I mean, like you could get like Korean barbecue. You could get like Mexican. You could. There's just so many food trucks, and I love it. So
Well, that we do have all over the place. And so from time to time, I would stop and get a street taco with some
right.
cilantro on it and call it a day.
I know you have to get the cilantro with the lime.
That
Yeah.
too.
Yes. A lot of people don't know about that, but that's something that I find that I really enjoyed. And there's a place off of Wilshire Boulevard. It's like an open park kind of that I remember, and there was
Hmm.
like live music there where a lot of the food truck go.
Hmm.
Is that still there?
Yeah, that's. I think you're talking about MacArthur Park. That's what I think it sounds like.
Uh huh.
And so I passed by it like a couple of weeks ago. I haven't
Hmm.
stopped over there, but there's so many locations here. One of my favorite places is the Grove in the Fairfax district.
Right.
It's
Right.
an open air mall there, and it's just it's even a nice place to go on a date.
Right.
It's
Right.
it's open air, and then there are restaurants there, there are stores, and all of that good stuff. So LA is it's and I live in Orange County,
Okay.
so I live in North Orange County, and but I'm here in LA now because, like I said, for this event that's happening tonight. But
Hmm.
nevertheless, I'm here pretty often though. I
Right.
from downtown LA to where I live is about maybe like 28 miles, so it's not bad.
Right. Right. I know that LA traffic is kind of crazy.
It can be like
Yeah.
coming this way. I should have arrived about 5:53, and I got here around 6:04. But people in Southern California can't deal with traffic prosperity. You
Right.
know, when
Right.
the freeway opens, somebody's got to act like they're on the Indy 500 and run into somebody else, and
All
then next thing you know, we've got traffic.
backed up.
Exactly, and there's like, look,
Yeah.
Sasha's expecting me, and I'm gonna be late.
Right. Tick, tick, tick. I remember I was in law school. I was in LA for maybe about 4 months.
Oh, cool.
I lived there, and the traffic was really crazy. I remember going out to visit one of my girlfriends, and I was in traffic for maybe about 3 hours, and I was like literally like just I give
It,
up.
it's not like that all the time, but it can be like that some of the time. You
Right,
know, it depends on the weather. Say, for instance, if the weather is bad and there are accidents all over the place,
right, right,
slick freeways and people are still driving like it's a sunny afternoon, then
right.
that's to be expected. What I do is I roll with the punches.
Hmm.
I listen to talk radio, sports. I have my CD. I get caught up on phone calls with my mother or friends.
Right.
And before I know it, I'm where I need to go. So it's about your attitude when it comes to dealing with the traffic. Because look, even when I go home to Slidell, Louisiana, they have the nerve to have worse traffic than us. You
Right,
know, at least we were
right,
built for it, and we have a lot of infrastructure and freeways. They
for it.
don't. They didn't expect that because, like, where my mother lives,
Right.
before Hurricane Katrina, perhaps there was 60,000 people, but after
Mhm.
Katrina, they got over 100,000,
Oh
and
wow.
so when you still have the infrastructure for 60, but
Mhm.
you got 100,000,
Makes
now
it
you got an issue.
right. Now New Orleans is one of my favorite states in the whole United States. I love every time I go to New Orleans, and I know Louisiana is a whole state, but New Orleans
Nolans.
Now is one of my favorite states. Even though I am so far from that, who that, you know,
Yep, yep.
we bleed blue through and through. But New Orleans is one of my favorite states.
To me, New Orleans is a great place to be from. I'm glad I don't live there anymore, but
Right?
I'm glad I'm from there. You know,
Yes.
I was born there at Charity
Hmm.
Hospital in New Orleans,
Hmm.
and it's home. And I go home every year. I've been out here. I've been out here since '82, and I've only missed 2 calendar years going home, and one of
Yes.
them was last year.
Yes. I
But I
was
was there up until New Year's Eve, bringing in 2020. So I was right on the brink.
off it. Yeah.
So
Yes. I was very sad that no one was there to send me my that was the Mardi Gras cake, the
the king cake
the king cake.
with the baby in it.
No one was able to send me a king cake because of COVID. So I was very disappointed. Usually there's a couple firms that's out there and I usually get them. But yeah. So, okay. All right. So time. So that was our 10-minute conversation.
Okay.
So I will start with you as to what your thoughts were about how I manage the conversation.
How you managed the conversation?
Hmm.
You did a nice job. I love your demeanor. You know, because I watched part of your episode yesterday, and I
Hmm.
love you have a a really nice demeanor about you. You
Okay.
know, and I love that. Not only you know you're obviously a beautiful lady, and but also your demeanor is very nice. And then the questions you just asked were good valid questions. You
Yes.
know, and so I don't necessarily know the entire format, so I'm still kind of like
Learning.
yeah,
Right.
as we go.
Right. So
So if
yeah.
you could fill me in a little bit, that'll be
Yeah.
great.
So what today is just there's we have two people come on and they just have like that 10-minute conversation, right? And then they just kind of give each other feedback on their perception from their point of view, right? Because we have like the male and the female perspectives, right?
Okay.
There's a you see me in one light, I see you in another light, right? And
Okay.
certain things that throughout the conversation gives you certain feelings, and then throughout the conversation gives me certain feelings, right? And because it's like that, the whole sense is that first date conversation, right? You really want to walk away from that first date with that making that connection, right? So we could go
Hmm.
to the second date and the third date and so on and so forth.
Oh,
Right?
okay. Okay. So this is a date, kind of like a dating show.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily a dating show, but it's like a
Getting to
show
know
that
you.
so it's a show that actually where we have two people because we had actually another guest
Okay.
that would go on and have these conversations tonight and with you, but unfortunately there was some confusion with the actual um calendar invites that went out and stuff. So but
Okay.
that's fine. But that worked out because we were
Well,
able,
I'm here. I'm here with you. It
right.
was divine order that it would be the two of us. So,
We were able to have our conversation. Um,
right.
and so some of the things that I thought about, in our conversation is I would have liked for you to ask me more questions.
I can.
Yeah. So, and I think maybe because, we didn't really have that just outlined as to what was going on, right?
Exactly.
And so I would have because I think I like when the conversation tells me that I'm as interested in your interest as you are in mine,
Absolutely.
right? I'm as invested in getting to know you as you are invested to get to know me. Right?
Well, I've got a question for you.
Sure.
What is it that makes you feel loved?
So my primary love language is quality time.
Hmm.
And so it's really important for me to have that time. Important for me to have that person make time to get to know me and understand who I am, and just kind of build that bond. So that's my number one.
Okay, well, tell me, what is one of your greatest assets, or a couple of your greatest assets as a woman, for as a prospective bride? Because I was checking out your show yesterday,
Yes.
and you were talking relationships, of course, and you were talking about, if I'm not mistaken, it was about kind of sort of like dating with a purpose.
Right. Right. Which I'm a
So,
proponent of.
same here,
So
same
my
here.
so I would say my strongest asset is my heart, right? I do have a big heart, and I love unconditionally. One of the gifts that my grandfather gave me was the ability to love unconditionally, because he gave me unconditional love, so I know what that looks like, and I have the capacity to do that. So I would say that would be one of my strongest assets.
What is your idea of a beautiful romantic evening?
Oh wow. Okay, so I love the water, right?
Okay.
Because of I'm a Libra, so a beautiful evening would probably be either. Okay, I'm gonna keep it low key, so I won't say the game, right? Um, uh, but maybe a comedy show because I love to laugh. So a comedy
Mm-hmm.
show,
Mm-hmm.
and that has like dinner, maybe, right? With a comedy show and then a walk on the beach.
Okay.
That would be a beautiful evening.
Okay. So would that be like a so kind of like a casual evening then, huh? Because if you're walking on the beach, as
Right.
far as
Yeah.
casually
So
dressed
right.
and stuff,
So
kind of
I
like,
go ahead.
yeah. So I guess with the beach, we'll be in the flip flops with jeans or something like that.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Right. Because I think that it's really important as we explore to meet people is that we really create that safety space for them
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
that they could be themselves, right?
Okay. Okay.
Because the more you could be yourself, the more of the opportunity there is for me to really get to know you.
Okay.
And so I think that is very important for us to just be laid back, just be chill, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
not the Grammys, right?
That's right.
It's not the Oscars. It's
Right.
just like getting to know someone, and getting to know someone should be natural, it should be organic. We should be able to get away from the glitz and the glam. I do believe there is a time to go on a fancy date,
Right.
right, and get all dressed up and glammed up and do all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't believe that. I think we put too much value in that for the beginning stages of a relationship. I don't believe that guys should be, because I believe that guy has to be the provider protector, so they should be out there like taking the lead on that. Um, but I think it's crazy for guys to think that you could date um in that space of you're dating multiple people and everybody's going to the 5-star restaurant. I mean, gosh, I
Yeah.
mean, that could get very costly.
It
um,
could.
it's just, even if you have it like that, you really should. It's very frivolous, and it's not necessary, and you
Okay.
can really get to know someone if that is if you're trying to impress them, right? Because I
Correct.
feel like as humans we have a natural desire to go to um we're drawn to the things that look good or and feel good, right? So you'll be attracted to that, right?
Hmm.
But it is not organic and it's not authentic. It's that representative that you're going to get in those pieces, and we have to be very mindful of that. So, but um, I think today was a great conversation, and we had our little rough start, right?
Yeah, but I got one more question for you.
Oh, sure, okay,
What are three attributes that you look for in a guy
okay.
for a potential long term, say for instance, for a mate, for a potential husband? What are those three attributes that are most important to you?
Okay. One, first and foremost, he has to be God fearing.
Okay,
Two, he has to be kind.
okay,
Um, three, he has to be just like a good leader, right? So I look for a leader to be, um, you know, passive is what I call it, passive yet assertive, right?
okay. Well, I'm qualified on those three then. Maybe I'll get to the next round.
Right, right. So passive but yet assertive. The ability
Absolutely,
um to win over leadership by example, you know.
absolutely.
And so those are I would say my top three.
Okay, well,
So
that's good to know.
this is so awesome. I think the ended conversation kind of went a little bit more than our show had originally intended, right? But I
Okay.
think that's good, right? Because again, the whole name of this game, right, is understanding from just seeing other people go through that experience, right? Seeing how
Mm-hmm.
other people interact with
Mm-hmm.
each other,
Mm-hmm.
right? And learning from those interactions, takeaways, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like some of the takeaways, like kind of pay attention, and just kind of, make it natural, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seek to find out more that you can about the other person. I think last week, one of our guests mentioned something that was so profound, and that is to take notes, like mental notes. Okay, this person likes to do this, right? So that you could kind of explore that further. And so,
Normally, what I'm doing is I didn't bring my notepad here, but I'm usually writing notes down.
right, right,
I've done that before,
right. Well,
so that I can
mental
go
notes,
back and yeah, you can do the mental, and then sometimes I like to just write them down, especially if I'm having a conversation with someone,
right,
because sometimes you get so much information, you're on information overload. But then
right.
I can write it down and say, okay, Sasha says she likes this, she likes that. Okay, as a reminder. But that's good.
Exactly. So I really appreciate you coming on here, Eric. I hope that you have a great evening, and enjoy. You said you're doing the
There's
step
a Chicago Steppers event
Chicago stuff.
here, and as you
Yeah.
can hear, people in the background have started to arrive. It's supposed to start at 7, but I'll probably start shooting at about 7:30. It's 6:56 here now,
Okay.
and so people are arriving right now. And so what I'll do is I'm going to shoot it as an episode, kind of like of my show, and share it on Facebook. I did this a couple of years ago in Long Beach, and I
Yeah.
fell in love with stepping that night.
Yeah. That's
And
so awesome. I look forward to watching that.
yeah,
That's
it was so
awesome.
much fun. It was just nice to me to see. It's mainly couples, and
Right.
I just love the camaraderie that the people had on the dance floor. And
Right.
even if they're not couples, they're just dancing around, getting some good exercise, and having a nice, pleasant evening. And I, the person who's promoting this called me a couple of days ago, and I was like, I am already committed to be on Sasha's show,
Oh, I
and
appreciate that. Yes.
I am. And so what happened? I said, okay, this is what I'll do. I'll bring my computer, excuse me, and I'll set up in the lobby or in his room or something like that. And so
Right.
the people here at the lobby said, there's Wi-Fi here. I ended up on my phone after all, but nevertheless, even though my
Right.
computer is right here.
It's right, right. But hey,
So, are
we
there any more questions you have of me before we leave?
no, that was basically it, we just kind of talked about the conversation, and I think overall, there were a lot of great takeaways from tonight's conversation. And so we will see you guys, I will see you next Thursday. Eric's gonna go enjoy his Chicago step. Make sure that if you guys are not following Eric, that you're following him, and on his social, make sure that you're checking out his show, and tuning into his radio show as well. And I will see you guys next Thursday for episode 15. That's going to be really exciting. We're going to be talking about Mr. Right or Mr. Right Now
Uh-oh.
in episode 15. We only got 5 more to go, so that's really exciting. And next week, Friday, we'll have another couple, or say 2 people that will be having their date.
Who is the other person who is going to be on?
So next week we have 2 other people.
I mean, tonight.
Tonight was Yvonne Holland.
Okay, well, give her my regards, and I'm so sorry that we missed out. Like I said, technologically, I had this issue, but nevertheless,
no, it's absolutely fine. And maybe guys could come back on, and then we could have that. You guys could have that conversation together.
Sure.
So maybe we could do that.
And one other thing, I love your setup with your radio setup. Even though something happened here, but you're doing an outstanding job.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that.
And you're a very lovely and pleasant lady, and I certainly wish you continued success at doing what you do.
Awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that. All right, guys. So I will see you guys next week. Make sure you tune in. If you're not following us, make sure that you're following on Love and Law Podcast. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, and following us on IG. All right. I'll see you guys next week.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.